Hey guys, now we are in a lockdown to keep ourselves safe. Along with ourselves, we should also see that our cars are safe too. So here, I just share some of the few steps which can, if followed, which can keep our car safe. Always start the car after 3 or 4 days because nowadays the car contains many of sensors like the remote keyless entry, the burglar alarms and different types of sensors. So the chances that the battery may drain. So always start the car after every 3 or 4 days. So when you start the car, one sec, I'll just start the car. So when you start the car, make sure that you on the AC and turn on the blower. So in case by any chance if there is any dust or means some other stuff stuck in the blower, it can blow out, which will help to keep the ventilation clean and tidy. By any chance, if you are not using the car for long and there is like you find difficult to start the car, means presently if you're out of stations, I would suggest you to remove the terminals of the battery. You don't need to remove all the terminals, but you can just remove one of the terminal, that may be the negative one. I'll just open it. You can only remove the negative terminal if needed. You can keep the positive terminal. While removing the negative terminal, I would suggest you to wrap the terminal with a plastic or some paper, not to have any contact with the body. So just to keep it safe. If you're parking the vehicle and you're not going to use the vehicle for long, you can pull down the handbrake and keep the vehicle in the gear. So this will make sure that the brakes of the vehicle don't get jammed. So there were instances when my vehicle brake used to get jammed, not this vehicle, the other vehicle. I had a Verna, so when I used to park it for long, when I used to pull my handbrake, the back means both the brake used to get jammed. So whenever I remove the hand brakes and start my vehicle and take it bit further, the vehicle was like the vehicle used to get stuck, so that created a problem. So I just suggest not to pull the hand brakes or whenever parking the vehicle for long. When the vehicle is in gear, the front wheel is locked up, but the back wheel isn't. So to be on safer side, you can keep a stone there so it doesn't move further at all. If the vehicle is parked in an open area and not in a garage, I do suggest you to cover the vehicle. But since if the vehicle is parked in a hot sun, I won't suggest you to use a plastic cover, but you can use a cloth cover, because the plastic cover, like, it gets superheated and the vehicle gets heated up more. So keeping a normal cloth a cloth material cover is the best thing to cover your vehicle. Unless it's in monsoon seasons, then I do suggest you to use a plastic cover. And if you're not using a cover, I would do suggest you to lift your wipers, both the wipers front and the behind, if you have the behind one, because there are chances that the dust particles will fall on the wiper, on the blade of the wipers. So when you use the wiper, the dust particle may scratch your glass, I mean your windscreen. So keep it safe. So just to keep in mind, always keep it open. Always move your car once in a week. Otherwise there are chances that your tire may get flat spot because it's parked in one position and it's not moved. This will affect the life of the tire and can also result in early cracks of the tires. So there is no need to go for long distance drive or short distance drive. Just you can move the tire, move the vehicle further backwards. Just a small distance, a small up and down of the vehicle will do. Make sure the car is clean to prevent any rodents into the car, especially eatables, foodstuffs like. So there are foodstuffs which may enter which may fall in the small area. So if they're not cleaned well, there may chance of rodents like rats and all getting into these areas in the car to some small holes, and which may affect the vehicle. Like the wiring system of the vehicle, the seat cover, they may eat this, and they may do all unnecessary stuff which affect the car. So I would suggest to keep the car clean always. Since the car will be locked for quite a long time, using a car freshener is a good idea, which will also give a good smell in the car. And if you can use some air purifiers, maybe the non-electric one is the safest, I think so, like the charcoal or something you get in the market. So this will help to keep the moisture away from the car, keeping the car moistureless, and helps to give a good odor in the car. If you don't have any car air fresheners, you can do a small technique. Just you can open a small part of the window, maybe just for the air to pass, or one from each side. That's enough, so that air gets circulated and there won't be any bad smell. You can do it only if the car is parked in a safe place, and you're so sure that the car is parked in a safe place, so and nothing will go wrong. If you're going to start the car for a long time, you can just give a tap on the bonnet just to make sure there is nothing inside. If there is something, they can hear the noise and go. Before starting the car, that's a must, I would say, because I can show you something which happened to one of my other car inside. This is a Renault Kwid. So I just wanted to show there were mongoose in this car. There were mongoose staying in this car, I think so, because I can see some fur particles. I hope you can see that. So I just cleared it a few days before, so that's why you can't see it clearly. So they enter from the small gaps. So that's why, so whenever you start a car for a long time, just give a tap, or else you can open the bonnet and make sure there is nothing inside the car. Especially during cold season and monsoon, you do need to do that. If you all got rodents in your area and it's entering the car, like in the bonnet or somewhere in the car, it must be entering to the bonnet itself. So I would just suggest you to change the position of the car. You can try parking the vehicle elsewhere, or else if you have a tight parking space, I'll just suggest you to change the position of the car. For example, you can see the car is facing outwards now. You can change the position. You can put the car facing inwards. So when I did that, it worked out for my car. So I just suggest you, hope it works out for your car also.